What's going on YouTube? It's your boy WBorby. I'm coming at you with another video, and today we're talking about Black Myth Wukong! Yes, I have not talked about this game because it's been all over the place. I've always missed a story here or there, but I'm finally going to talk about it because I got one right now, because this game has been super successful. Wonderful. Fantastic. A game based on Journey to the West, made by Game Science, and people have just been gobbling it up. They love it. That's wonderful to see people enjoying a game that is centered around just having fun and doing something different than what we've been receiving, like Dustborn or Concord, for example. But so far, this game has sold 10 million copies across all platforms in just 4 days, and all the correct people have been crying about it. You know, you got Esports Associate Editor Tom Foley rages at Black Myth Wukong developers and demands game include more diversity. A game about a monkey man. I don't think we really want to be talking about diversity. Just to be on the safe side there, buddy. We also had Reset Era users get depressed after Black Myth Wukong breaks concurrent player number records. Oh, you just love to see a bunch of these freaks crying all day and saying that they're depressed because the game's winning. But why is this whole notion going on right now? Well, it started because IGN did a stupid on their quest to try to tear down this game, and we come over here to the actual article, how Black Myth Wukong developers' history of sexism is complicating its journey to the West. And this was all brought up because they found some posts of the actual developers, translated it, and they got botched translations. And you could tell they were botched translations with the first sentence. I want to expand my circle and hire more people, get licked until I can't get an erection. None of that made sense except for maybe the first part. Second part, that comes out of left field. Oh, but don't worry. Chinese gamer refutes IGN sexism accusation against Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, they used faulty translations to prove that they were sexist. Yeah, you come down here to what the actual translation is. I just wanted to recruit a few people, but received more praise than expected, which made me feel uneasy. That's what the actual translation was. And they couldn't figure that out after a simple, like, hey, this doesn't flow right, this doesn't make sense, and people are so stupid that they actually believed it. Holy crap. Well, since this article came out, and since Black Myth Wukong has been winning left, right, and center, you had IGN reporter who smeared Black Myth Wukong developers. She shut down her Twitter account because she was getting clowned on. Let's be real fair here, guys. The game was a success. They put out a awful article trying to demonize the game, trying to demonize the developers as being sexist and horrible people. Game's being successful, and now she had to shut down her Twitter account because, well, she effed up. She effed up, she found out, and now look, game's winning. Oh, but that's not all, because her teammate also has decried the game. IGN writer who smeared Game Science and Black Myth Wukong calls for boycott of game, previously admitted to hating white people. And my god, is this article just so beautiful, because when we scroll down to what he said in response to just shortly before the game coming out, I'm so effing pissed off. This has gone too far. Don't play Black Myth Wukong. If you must, go and pirate it. If you enjoy it, I don't want to know it. F Game Science and all the grifters who are doing this on one of my faves people in the industry. I don't know what he means in that response, but it shows you just how hateful he is of something new, interesting, and that actually caters to gamers comes out, and he hates it because it's not centered around his ideology. It's not centered around what he likes to believe. It's not like Dustborn or Concord. It is a different type of game that's solely focused on giving you a good story and having a fun time. That's all it is. That's all it ever will be, but because there's not enough diversity, not enough whammons, they have to scream and shout. But let's see just how awful this guy is, because we have some other tweets of his that come from previous times. This comes from 2022. White gamers have zero nuance, zero understanding of the world, and it'll forever be like this because the world bends over to meet their expectations. And if they're upset, they just scream at their targets until everything works miraculously in their favor. So why don't we actually take this and see how they're reacting to Black Myth Wukong? They hate that it's winning. They hate that it doesn't have diversity in it. They're getting depressed and they're calling for boycotts. That's coming from the leftist gamers though. So why don't we take what he just said here and not just do the usual replace white with black and just see how racist this actually is, but why don't we take white and replace it with leftist? Leftist gamers have zero nuance, zero understanding of the world, and it will forever be like this because the world bends over to meet their expectations. And if they're upset, they scream at their target until everything works miraculously in their favor. Man, that seems more accurate to what actually goes on. That seems more realistic to the goings on in the world, is when you take out white and replace it with leftist, which does incorporate this man right here. They scream, cry, and shout because they don't get it their way. Yeah, no diversity, blah, 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 blah. Put in diversity, put a black man in the game about a monkey. Don't think we want to be playing these games, buddy, but let's see what else he had to say. Because, my God, this guy is just awful. Do I hate white people? Yes. And if you're a friend, you'll understand why this is never personal. I hate white privilege so much, their ability to scream reverse racism when faced with a tiny bit of criticism. The world revolves around them, even in Singapore, every day. Just take out the word white and replace it with black. Seriously. This guy's an awful human being who, the moment he doesn't get it his way, he cries, he freaks out, he screams, he shouts, he throws a temper tantrum because people aren't listening to him and the world doesn't revolve around him. Interesting how this always plays out, and interesting how they always project how they actually feel. This man here is an overt racist. This man here is an overt leftist. This man here is an overt narcissist that just is screaming that a game catered towards gamers, based off of Journey to the West, meant to challenge you and be interesting and deal with a different cultural history and mythology that we don't normally get over here in the West. Interesting how they can't stand it. Oh, but it's to be expected from these freaks. They're narcissists. They're awful people. If the world doesn't revolve around them, they cry, they cheat, they steal, they try to force things to be about them at all times. And the moment it's not, they can't stand it. You can take what's going on here and even apply it to Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy, it made even less sense going forward because in the game they had all their representation, the diversity, they had a trans character, they had a lesbian character, they had all the stuff that they would want. But because J.K. Rowling was involved, who disagrees with them on one single point, they had to decry it, say that it's awful, make up a bunch of weird stuff that proved more about them than it did about us. And it never makes sense. If nothing goes completely 100% their way, they can't stand it. Which makes Black Myth Wukong succeeding so much feel all the better because all the correct people cry with this. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it up, friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video go live. And I'll see you guys all on the next one. Bye for now.